When my father was hunting, he saw that the black and white double who were combining, and he didn't even think about raising his hand to shoot it. Blackbeard fell to the ground in an instant with the whale, and when his father pulled the trigger and was about to kill the female beard, he didn't expect the female beard to spit out people's eyes. If you kill your spouse today, he will definitely pay for your whole family. When my father heard this, he hurriedly knelt down and kowtowed to beg for work, saying that one person should do it, and asked Daxian to let my wife and children die. Seeing that her father was also daring, Muhu turned into a gust of wind and swept him back to the depths of the mountain. The mother thought that her father was dead and suffered from poisoning and depression. I eventually committed suicide when I was 7 years old. Before she died, she left a bloody note, and a fire burned down our family's ancestral home. The blood book is still my mother's entrustment to me. I am not allowed to learn feng shui in my life. It is not allowed to enter the rivers and lakes. I don't want to live under a fence. You can only grab the bridge hole with a group of beggars. When they are hungry, they will snatch food under the mouth of stray dogs. I was poor, but with dignity. The cold winter of that year came very quickly. A man walked up to me with a hollow. Said it could be changed with all the clothes I had on me. His concave looks thick. I didn't hesitate to say yes. Take off your jacket and pants together. The man snatched my clothes. But he did not give me the intention of being proud. He said let me kowtow to him 3 times, in order not to freeze to death. I fell to my knees. The man threw his pride at me with disdain. But the AO had already been soaked in blood. It was also mixed with a disgusting smell of urine. I'm going to lie on the ground shaking. The man lifted his gnarled hand, directly gave me a slap in the face. He smirked, didn't die and felt sticky boy. Tell your father and mother, who went to hell after freezing to death. The person who sent you to death is called Wang Defa. Wang Defa left. I didn't freeze to death. It was an old fortune teller who saved me. He gave me his own clothes to wear. Lift my hands and feet with your mouth. After I woke up, he asked me if I wanted revenge. I nodded as hard as I could. After that, the old man took me as an apprentice. He told me that I wanted to learn the art of feng shui. I was a little stunned. I haven't forgotten the bloody words left by my mother. Just when I hesitated, the old man woke me up with a slap, and I said solemnly, Jinchi, listen up. You are the true dragon in feng shui. If you want revenge, you have to learn. The old man led me to a stone tablet again. He pointed to the snow-capped mountains towering into the sky in the distance. One day later, it will stand on the top of Chang'ai Mountain, overlooking the rivers and lakes of the world. Eventually, I said yes. Continue to be a beggar during the day. Learn the art of feng shui at night. The old man had no name and no surname, so I call him Lao Huang. All of his skills come from a strange book called Jin Xuan Yuhan. This book is the emperor's feng shui secretary with the help of heaven, and killed his mentor and friend in the book. According to legend, those who won Jin Xuan Yuhan won the world. Zhang Zia got the first number of squares from Kunlun Mountain, assisted King Wu to overthrow the Shang dynasty rule. Zhuge Kongming got the Tao Law chapter, 3 points of troubled times. Liu Bowen got the numerology chapter, cut off a bucket of famous rivers and mountains in the world. But what I never expected was this. Lao Huang actually has the most complete Jin Xuan Yuhan, and I didn't live up to Lao Huang's expectations. In just 10 years, he learned all the contents of Jin Xuan Yuhan. Until the night I turned 18. Lao Huang asked me seriously, do you still remember Wang Defa back then? Remember. The shame of that year is unforgettable. I replied firmly, go find him. It's not just revenge for the year. And about your father. Lao Huang said solemnly. My heart fluttered. Things about my father all these years. He avoided talking about it. Then Lao Huang looked up and said with a smile, Qianlong had the day of flying in the injustice. The master-price relationship between you and me is over. What you should go to is the world of rivers and lakes. I nodded heavily. Master, I won't disgrace you when I wake up in the morning. Aha, what to say humiliation. Being able to be your master is a blessing for my pesky cultivation. Lao Huang laughed. Then I saw him take out a piece of red paper and say, there's something else I want to ask you for. I have a daughter in the world. He said that I was implicated in many disasters in this life. Only you can protect him. I looked at Lao Huang's pleading color that I had never seen before. Without hesitation, I agreed. Red is just an ancient marriage book. I bit my finger, wrote his name and birth date on the marriage book. I swear to God, regardless of whether the other party is poor, rich, beautiful, or ugly, I'll take care of him for the rest of my life. Lao Huang nodded with satisfaction. It's good to sleep. I'll leave tomorrow morning as soon as it's dawn. And by the next morning, Lao Huang is dead. He turned to bones overnight. I know this is the trance of Lao Huang Chuan's full version of Jin Xuan Yuhan. After Lao Huang's funeral, I glanced at the marriage book in my hand. Yinjing Lin Suha. This is the name of Lao Huang's daughter. I solemnly put away this marriage book. Finally, take a bus to Yinjing. Upon arrival in Yinjing, I found a store in Xiqing district, and used the key that Lao Huang gave me. Opened this long-dusted tea house. Classic tea pavilion. It is the only industry that Lao Huang left me. It is also a place where I will make a living in the future. This tea house sells tea next year. Secretly, there are also sounds such as feng shui fortune telling. This afternoon, a guest in a suit and leather shoes came in the tea house. He yelled at me. The boss named Pot Jin Jume. Then let's have a plate of melon seeds and peanuts. I've been thinking about this sip of tea for a long time. I was helpless to hear this. The store that has been closed for so many years has no tea to sell. There is not a penny in the pocket to buy. Apologies, sir. There is no tea in the shop for the time being. The person who was about to drink the tea was obviously stunned. There is no tea sold in the tea house. What business neurosis? The guest scolded and left. Until midnight 7 days later. An innocent girl in a white dress walked towards the tea house. When she entered, I asked politely, "Hello, how can I help you?" The girl said in a nice voice, "Heaven and earth are humble." Hear her say that. I replied ecstatically. Definition of Qiankuan. I immediately asked the girl, "Miss, what are you asking for?" "Marriage." The girl's pretty eyes stared at me and said, "The work of seeking marriage is not profitable, but it can also solve my immediate needs." I said politely to the girl, "Please give me your 8 characters." The girl replied to me, "The year of fog and silver is the month of recklessness. The new 4 days are 4 o'clock." Hear her 8 words. I frowned. Her life is not balanced. It's not easy to see the fate from the 8 characters. It's like a white mist. I can't see it clearly. I continued, "I'll hang you up. Hanging up like a wave, by my hanging. In the life of the heavy thing in the south. I can unravel them all." As he spoke, I took out 5 copper coins. Landing copper coins with a unique technique. The 3 copper coins are scattered. 2 of them are face up. A copper coin shakes and rolls. The oblique force is in the corner of the table. Dead hanging. I was shocked to see death. The so-called dead hanging. For example, the dead game and go cannot be solved. You need to start all over again. There is a dead hang. Either the proposition of the object is very special. Either that, Mr. Feng Shui's path is too forward. 10 years of study and art. I'm based on Monday 64 hanging. I have never missed 100 times in practice. However, at this time, something suddenly occurred to me. Chen Sheng asked the girl, "Excuse me, miss. I would like to ask you about your life below." The girl spoke slowly. "Lin Suha." I was shocked. The copper coin in his hand also fell. The copper coin landed with a crisp sound. Soon the copper coin shattered. Except for dead hanging. There is also a hanging item that is beyond the 64 hanging of Zhou. Seal a door and hang it. Those who encounter this hang will be discarded before they are scattered. The hanger should immediately close the door. That is, the hanging item at this moment. That's easy to explain. Why hang twice? 1 death and 1 door. I have written a marriage letter with him. He sources me. Count yourself without accidents. Did you figure it out? Lin Suha glanced at the broken copper coins on the ground. As expected, my marriage is not good. There was a gentleman who did the trick for me. I had a serious illness and was bedridden for more than half a year before I recovered. I hesitated for a moment. There was no mention of the marriage certificate, because I knew him on the first day. Suddenly he took out the marriage certificate, and he couldn't accept it. So I said, "The 8 characters were not calculated. No money will be charged to you this time." Lin Suha then said, "Actually, I have one more thing to ask for. My father told me back then, when this tea house reopened, the owner of the tea house will help me." I laughed. "You said I must have done my best. Let's go to my house first." Then Lin Suha took me to a courtyard house in Yinjing. I was a little surprised. Lin Suha was dressed very plainly. But there is a courtyard house worth tens of millions in Yinjing. This courtyard is very elegant, and the space is not small. I was directly attracted by the concealment of the entrance behind the door. This is an extremely extravagant piece of white marble concealment. In the middle of the concealment is a lifelike black carp. In this quadrangle, the purpose of the entrance is to protect privacy. With it, even if the door of the courtyard is opened, outsiders don't know what's going on inside. But in fact, it is in the feng shui of the house. The concealment of the entrance has another purpose. Hiding the Qi gathers to deter ghosts. The entrance in front of you is hidden. From any point of view, they are all furnishings that fit feng shui. But when I pass through this hide, I smell something. "Let's go into the yard," Lin Suha said softly. After walking into the yard, suddenly the whole body was cold and swishing. The air was dull and terrible. Lin Suha stopped and said, "Sir, you should feel it. The temperature and air in the yard are very strange. The most critical thing is..." Before he finished speaking, Lin Suha paused. I followed his gaze to the stone lamp in the courtyard. There are no sparks in this antique stone lamp. Inside is a jade bead that is extremely round. However, cracks appeared on this jade bead. Lin Suha explained. The storm stone cracked. A good house feng shui in addition to occupying a powerful terrain. The house will also ask a master to arrange the storm stone. This stone is placed. It has a wonderful appearance of its own pattern of inner rhyme. And if the turmoil in the Yang mansion is really cracked, it means one thing. Feng shui is reversed and reversed. I estimated the feng shui pattern of this quadrangle. It should be from Lao Huang's hand. But now things must be reversed. The feng shui pattern of the great pole shifts in the direction of the big chest. I instantly understood what was said. "You are asking me to help you solve this young house feng shui." Lin Suha nodded and said, My father said it back then. When the turmoil is really broken, I will go to the tea house to find you. Otherwise, there will be extremely dangerous consequences. No problem, I can fix it. I agreed. Then I said to Lin Suha, do you have a shovel at home? Lin Suha nodded. Soon I got a shovel. I took the shovel to the entrance of his house. Lin Suha asked me curiously, is there a problem? It's just below this sweaty white jade wall. I'm hard. I noticed the oddity when I passed by here. I plunged a shovel into a crack in the floor. Blisters began to bubble up under the concealment of the entrance. But in the blink of an eye, the water like a fountain was panting frantically upwards. It's all water, Lin Suha said in astonishment. Blackheart is also called sweatfish. Jade water is chaotic. Conceal the area of water underneath. As a result, the feng shui pattern of the entire courtyard has changed. This is the root cause of the shattering of the storm zone. I said slowly, but when the water is gone, it'll be fine. But soon I was a little puzzled. It stands to reason that a black harp has stagnant water under it. It is well known in feng shui. Your old Huang skills will not have this omission at all. Obviously, this is all Lao Huang's game in advance. But the question is what Lao Huang's purpose is in doing this. Lin Suha asked me on the side at this time. There is no water left, sir. The problem of the yard should be solved. Almost. I nodded and said to Lin Suha. Lin Suha said to me with a smile, thank you, sir. My father said it back then. If the owner of the tea house can help me with this, I'm going to give you something. But such things are in the hands of my godmother. She hasn't come back yet. Can you please wait a moment? No problem. I waited for as long as I wanted. I fell hard. I also inquired about her godmother. It turned out that Lin Su, in all these years, I've been living with her godmother. Her godmother is in Yinjing, running a large hospital. Lin Suha asked curiously, by the way, I haven't asked you yet. What do you have to do with my father? I'll reply to her. I was her apprentice. Wanyan Lin Suha was suddenly surprised. Soon waited for Lin Suha's godmother. Unlike Lin Suha, who was dressed plainly, this is a woman who is dressed in a luxurious manner. Lin Suha walked to the woman's side. I roughly talked about the courtyard. The girl, who told you to go to her? The woman said angrily. You're still too young. How can you be sure she's the one your dad says she was? I'm not going to teach that stuff easily. Then she stared at me and shouted, how can you prove that you are the person Huang Yanjian said you are? I asked rhetorically. Lao Huang is my master. How do you want me to prove it? The woman laughed suddenly. When did Huang Yanjian have an apprentice? 7 doors, if the older generation of Golden Gate leaders accept apprentices. No one in this world knows about the rivers and lakes. This is when I finally know Lao Huang's identity. In the last years of the Qing dynasty, there were constant wars. The consciousness of capable people from all walks of life on the rivers and lakes has formed an organization. It's called 7 doors. Among them, Feng Shui is comparable to this line called Golden Gate. The leader of the Golden Gate is the world-famous Feng Shui king. The woman asked me again, how many skills you have learned from him? 50%. I replied to him implicitly. If you only count Jin Xuanyu's ability, I'm no worse than Lao Huang. Experience the mind. I'm far inferior to Lao Huang. Ha 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 ha. Run off at the mouth. The woman said in a straight voice. Huang Yanjian has been dead for 10 years. Where did you come from, this apprentice? I was stunned. Then the woman walked to her room. Pushed the door open. There is a tablet in the smoke. Placed in the house. First test the palace will be the spirit of eternal grace. At this time, Lin Suha walked up to me and said, Mister, my father passed away more than a decade ago. He did not take any apprentices during his lifetime. I was shocked, but it soon became clear why. Lao Huang should have faked his death more than 10 years ago. Protect his only daughter by blinding the heavens. I got straight to the point. It doesn't matter if I'm Huang Yong's apprentice or not. Now that I've solved the troubles, you're going to have to give me something like that. The woman sneered. Full of lies. After learning a little fur, I came to swagger and bumper. I don't agree with wanting that thing. I continued. These are the last words left by Lao Huang. Are you going to forcibly disobey him? The woman directly ordered the candle class. Get out of here. We're going to rest. Then I looked up at the night starry sky. Then he pinched his fingers and calculated. Tomorrow night at the latest. You'll regret it. The woman sneered with obvious misfortune. Okay, I'm waiting. Sure enough, on the second day, Lin Suha came to me in a hurry. She said, Sir, please help. The position of the person's thighs. Lin Suha asked suspiciously. From the early hours of the morning, the stagnant water in the yard can't be put in. I couldn't help but admire it in my heart. Lao Huang deserves to be the king of feng shui. When I left Lin Sua's house last night, I watched the stars at night. There are 8 stars in the south and east. This 8-star main water affair. Therefore it will rain heavily today. Look at this astrological sign, though it is only scratching the surface. But it is rare that Lao Huang predicted today 10 years in advance. And after the appearance of this astrological sign, the feng shui of the courtyard began to reverse the situation again. Hidden in the hallway last night was groundwater. Today's is heavenly water. The black carp jade water is chaotic. The earth water is bad, and the sky is bad. Obviously, this is still the bureau of the old yellow department. Lao Huang counted Lin Sua's godmother. Won't give me anything easily. That's why she left me with this one in the backhand. Lin Suha led me and said, Mister, godmother is in this house. Walk inside. I saw Cui Mei's face pale. The eyelashes were covered in frost. She shouted hurriedly when she saw me. Help me, save me, save me. Okay, but promise me one thing. I said Cui Mei Dao. I promise you everything. She was Black Harp Jade Tianxue, the effects of the evil spirits. Now he has fallen into the evil spirit. Some are delirious. I want what my master left me. I said directly. Cui Mei hurriedly nodded in agreement. He was in great pain at this point. It's like standing in the snow and ice with no clothes on. Icy chilling. Then I instructed Lin Suha. Southeast facing in the garden. There was a peach tree that had been struck by lightning. Get someone to get the egg on it. Okay, I'll go right away. Soon after, Lin Suha went and returned. In his hand, he held a peach tree branch that had been struck by lightning. I put this lightning strike wood on the previous storm stone. At the same time, the sluice gate in the courtyard was opened. The amazing thing is the water that can't be put in. Leave it all in an instant. The courtyard gradually returned to its former appearance. Lin Suha exclaimed, Mister, you do have real skills. The 8 stars in the east can cause heavy rainfall, but the wood of lightning strikes when it rains. It has the effect of fixing the wind and kissing the chi. At the same time, this lightning strike wood is full of masculinity. Use this wood to place it in the previous storm-like position. It can block the water of the sky. It's right now. The sound of an ambulance could be heard outside the courtyard. A number of doctors in white coats asked, May I ask which room Dean Shui is in? Lin Suha led the group of doctors into the house. After some instrument checks, the doctor who took the lead said nervously, Scared the hell out of me. Fortunately, it's not a big deal. Dean Shui should be too tired these days. Add to that the torrential rain last night. Caught a cold. The eyes are hanging first, and I will prescribe a few packets of medicine. Just get a good rest. The doctors instructed. It didn't take long for the doctor to leave. A few hours later, Cui Mei's state is a lot more energetic. I asked Cui Mei directly. Stuff too. Cui Mei gave me a disdainful look. The expression that begged me just now is long gone. He said to Lin Suha dissatisfied. If it's nothing, just give him some money and send him away. The water healed me, Lin Suha said anxiously. Others don't understand. Don't we understand? Your situation just now is evil. Cui Mei said in a deep voice. Daughter, how do you turn your elbows out? I said it was a cold. What else did Lin Suha want to say? I grabbed her. It seems that Cui Mei has made up her mind. It's not going to teach anything like that. I just turned around and walked first, and walked outside the courtyard. Lin Suha chased after him and whispered, I'll find a way to get it to you. My godmother has a domineering personality. I couldn't offend her for a while, but I will obey my father's instructions. You give me some time. I'll back. Okay, I'll wait for you. But I don't have much hope for that. Because Lin Suha has a very low status in front of Cui Mei. The pouring rain had stopped when I returned. I saw 2 people standing outside the tea house. An old man with 2 eye spots. A man with a strong physique. I was a little surprised. Isn't this the guest who was going to drink Kim Jun Mei yesterday? The man said, This shop doesn't sell tea. The boss is a fool. The old man ignored what he kept telling me. It dawned on me, and I said to the old man, Since I came to ask for truth, come in. The man sneered. Seeking. Who is begging you? Do you know who we are? Shut up. The old man interrupted him coldly. The man said with a hippie smile on his face. I often come to this street, old man. There is a shop in front that sells authentic Westlake Longjing. I'll take you a drink. The old man couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily, Don't learn countless wastes. All day long I only know what to eat and drink. Take a good look at the signboard of this store. The man's face was fierce. Looking up at the tea house, Pai Bian still looked puzzled. The old man came in and said to me, A whole child is not sensible. I hope Mr. Xiao will be tolerant. What do you call it? Jinchi. I was born to say. The man rushed in from outside the door at this moment. Old man. I said, Why doesn't this tea house sell tea? Yes, you can add money. Hear me say that. The man angrily slapped the table. How did you kid talk to my dad? Do you know who my dad is? How many people beg to do something for my father? The old man said with anger on his face. Sun Jiaoshan, you want to live? Kneel down for Mr. Chanxi. The man said with iron eyes. What a joke. My son Jiaoshan knelt to the sky, and knelt to his parents. A kid who hasn't grown any hair. You deserve me to kneel. The old man was so angry that he stomped his feet. At this time, Sun Jiaoshan also lost his temper. I won't be with you. Just turn around and leave. I said directly to the old man. I can take this job, but I want you to stock this tea house for me. Tea houses are not cheap to stock. There are no 300,000 to come down. Okay, no problem, thank you, sir. The old man didn't care about the reward and nodded and said, Your son planted a kind of disgusting tree. I'll go to your house at midnight and see again. Home address to me. I said out loud. I heard the old man say in a public voice. The gentleman's eyes are like torches. The people are waiting for you at home. After saying that, the old man gave me the address and left. 3 washes in the middle of the night. I found his place to live at the address the old man gave me. Number 6 Wangfu Donggyuan. This is a well-known rich area in Yanqing. The old man took me upstairs. I saw the sturdy Sun Zhaoshan curled up on the bed. He closed his eyes tightly, and his face twisted in contention. The bed is full of yellow flowers. It looks very weird. I asked, "When did you start sleeping?" The old man replied to me, "2 hours ago." He had fallen into a dream. Then I walked to the edge of Sun Zhaoshan. A kick in the center of his foot. Sun Zhaoshan shouted in pain. Then he came to his senses. Dream eye is also known as the ghost press. Falling asleep in bed, I fell into some kind of deep dream. The way to wake him up is to wake him up directly. The art of twisting the heart is where the eternal spring study. Hitting this school hard can cause severe pain. The old man asked, "Mister, do you see what kind of sage technique this is?" The dog falls into a nightmare every night. After waking up, the physical condition will be severely reduced. I stared at Sun Zhaoshan and sneered. Thinness is considered light. If it's serious, your grandson's family will be cut off from now on, because your son will soon be able to do it no further. Sun Zhaoshan Wanyan immediately jumped out of bed. "Little brother, I'll kneel for you." Before, it was my dog who looked down on people, said that Sun Zhaoshan, who was originally full of backbone. He slapped himself and knelt down at me. I continued to ask, "What dreams are you having these days? With which woman?" Sun Zhaoshan's eyes widened. I looked at me incredulously and said, "Several times." I couldn't even see each other's faces. I said, "Don't spit out geranium pollen on your face. There is no need to put these tiger eggplant orchids on the bed, although these have the effect of calming the nerves and dedicating the heart, but it can't spill over your nightmares." After saying this, the old man and Sun Zhaoshan were shocked. They looked at me incredulously. "Are you also a man of piment? These are not ordinary flowers. You can see that too." The letter door is also one of the rivers and lakes vows. The practice of medicine and the sale of medicine are called piment. I said, "You've been put on a peach blossom. I need to find out where you were laid down. Let's go, before you plant the secret tree, the most frequented place." Sun Zhaoshan nodded and led me downstairs. I'll tell you the truth. Ever since I planted this sacred tree, I'm not bored when I see beautiful women. I thought the little brother had a bad face. Soon after, I arrived at the door of the store with sparkling lights. The crystal-forged ballroom. Breathe into the ballroom. Sun Zhaoshan said to me with a grin. There was a superb dancer in front of the ballroom. I've been here for days on end just to look for him, but it doesn't seem to be there today. I didn't say anything. Instead, he took a piece of Sun Zhaoshan's hair. Then, I took out the candle flame that I had prepared long ago and lit my hair. Normal hair lighting will only produce white smoke. And at this moment, red smoke is rising. You're scared in this ballroom. I looked at my hair and said surely. But Sun Zhaoshan's smiling face disappeared. Let's move on to the dancing girl, I said. Sun Zhaoshan explained the dancing girl in detail for me. He said, "This dancer is very good at caring for her. Can bring her emotional value." He was particularly fascinated by this woman. During this period, he also gave his jade pendant to the dancer. I continued. No wonder he was easily subjected to holy arts. The jade pendant that has been brought from childhood to adulthood also dares to give it away easily. This jade pendant has long been in contact with his breath. Wanyan Sun Zhaoshan said, "Is it that he harmed me?" I said with a white hand, "Go back first. Grab a glass of liquor from the ballroom before leaving." When I got back to his house, I took out a bottle of liquor. Asked Sun Zhaoshan to put a bowl of blood again. There is also a bowl with yellow sand inside. Who the hell is the spellcaster? Who gave you the art of sanctification? Yellow sand will give the answer, I said calmly. Finally, when the blood turns into gas, the liquor burns the officer. I picked up the last bowl and crushed it vigorously. With a click, the bowl shattered yellow sand and fell to the ground. Weird things. The falling yellow sand was sprinkled on the ground in an orderly manner. At the end, 3 words are arranged. Sun Zhaowang. Sun Zhaoshan shouted at the old man. "Dad, how is your name?" Sun Zhaowang looked at me with a puzzled expression. I said, "Actually, there is another possibility. The name of the yellow sand converged. It doesn't have to be the spellcaster himself. Perhaps it is the source of the holy art of the Shi family." To put it simply, Sun Zhaowang's enemies went down to Taoyuan province against Sun Zhaoshan. Find a dancer before dawn. Otherwise, the nightmare deepens. Your little brother will never be able to lift his head. I spoke up. Sun Zhaoshan immediately walked out of the room, but soon he went and said again. The dancer was gone. The old man looked at me and asked, "Is there any other way?" Then I went to the crystal ballroom again with my father and son. I said to Sun Zhaoshan, "The other party is a glamorous saint art under the dance hall. Your jade pendant may still be here, too. Find the jade pendant, and your peach blossom sage can solve it." Sun Zhaoshan immediately searched the dance hall in a carpet search. Finally, in the tool room on the female side, I found her jade pendant. And when the door to the toilet room opens, a stench hits your face. At the same time, a terrible sight appeared. A photo of Sun Zhaoshan's head is posted on the wall. The photos are full of eerie charms. An iron nail was nailed to the top of the photo. The jade pendant hung on an iron nail. I looked at the old man and said lightly, "He's going to kill you. I won't be able to find this jade pendant tonight." The other party didn't want to know that Sun Zhaoshan was killed. The explanation just wanted to teach Sun Zhaoshan a lesson. Then I walked over to the picture. It's been on the jade pendant. The jade pendant is the core of yin shangshu. After breaking the jade Heian holy technique, it will be solved naturally. Zhang Taigong used the fragments of gold diamonds and jade gold to create yin shang, and I have already understood the whole story of gold, diamond, and jade. The means in front of me are nothing more than pediatrics in my eyes. My mouth began to recite the Dharma in silence. Fingers pressed again. In an instant, the jade pendant finally couldn't resist and turned into a grave. At the same time as the jade pendant was broken, Sun Zhaoshan spit out a mouthful of blood and fainted. After returning to their home, Sun Xiaowing settled the sleeping Sun Zhaoshan on the bed and said to me, "Mr. Fortune, I'll make a lot of money about your reward." I asked with a smile as I looked at the old man in front of me. "Don't you have anything to tell me?" Sun Xiaowing hesitated and said, "I can't hide anything from Mr. This peach blossom saint and the dog is indeed related to me. The people of next week may have an enmity with me." I smiled, glancing at his clothes. I saw a badge embroidered on his clothes. Under the coat of arms, there is a line of words National Association of Physicians. And people are not talented. President of the National Assembly. Sun Xiaowing replied to me. The National Assembly plays an important role in the medical profession. The President of the National Assembly has always been even more transcendent. Sun Xiaowing replied to me with a laugh. "It's almost dawn, sir. I'll send a driver to take you back." Snort. Sun Zhaoshan's door suddenly opened. Sun Zhaoshan, who was originally lying in a coma. He sat up from his bed. His eyes were staring straight at me. I only heard Sun Zhaoshan shouting at me in an extremely cold and sharp voice. "Nosy boy, you wait." After speaking, Sun Zhaoshan's eyes closed again. The body lay down again. This sentence is obvious. It was the spellcaster's warning to me through Sun Zhaoshan's body. I squinted and whispered, "Remembered, you owe me a great favor. Understand that there is something to do in the future, even if you're told." Sun Xiaowing nodded heavily. On the second day, Sun Xiaowing found someone to bring tea. There are not only tea leaves, but also tea mushrooms. And they're all worth a lot of money. For example, Rest in Peace Tai Guaning, Alfeng Huangshan Mountain, Taiping Hokue, and other precious teas. Sun Xiaowing not only gave the supply, it also seems to help me attract guests. There were tea merchants for several days in a row, so I finally solved the problem of food and clothing. But I've always cared about this one thing. Lao Huang asked Lin Su to give me that thing. For this I hang up again. This time I'm snooping with the oldest method of predation, tortoiseshell lion grass. I counted a whole day and a night later. There are only 4 lion grass left. The amount of this lion grass left. It is the result of the calculation. Not long after I hunted, Lin Suha came to me. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't get anything like that." "It's okay." I shook my head in comfort. This is something I expected beforehand. Lin Suha arrived again. "But I know where that thing is." "Did the godmother say that she leaked her mouth before?" "She threw the things into the well." "Wenyan, I came to her house again." Lin Suha whispered to me. "The godmother was not at home while she didn't come back. Let's go down and see." The corner of the main house of the courtyard and the kanapa. There is an inconspicuous place. There is actually a sealed well. I removed the slate from the well. There was a cold air rushing up. "There is a rope at home. I'll go down and explore your way first," Lin Suha said, and took the lead in going down the well. Then I went down to the bottom of the well. The bottom of the well is almost dry. There is only a thin stream of water. There was a hole in the ground under the dimly lit well. Don't know where it leads. Then I pulled out a candle. It lit it with a match and illuminated the surroundings. Yet, under the light, a giant python appeared in front of us. Seeing this, Lin Suha was directly frightened and fainted. The eyes of this giant python are not cold-blooded. On the contrary, it exudes a human breath. I don't know how thick the sky is. Drove me down and threatened me. "I'm going to teach you a lesson. And you disobedient dead girl. Elbow hour. It's okay to scare you today." At this moment, Shui Mei's voice appeared. She continued, "Please also ask Dasa to help me." Shui Mei has all come together. In the future, the incense will continue year after year. After all that is said, Shui Mei moved the stone slab to seal the wellhead. I glanced at Lin Suha and Dao. This fool. Where did Shui Mei say that she leaked her mouth? This is simply a ruse set up by him. Hiss. The python let out a screeching sound, and they rushed at me. I took a step back and said with a sneer, "The woman screams at you. You really think you're a snake fairy? It's just a long rush that has given birth to a bit of spiritual quality." Words fell. A willow dagger appeared in my hand. The willow dagger depicts the kiss of 6 emotions with the secretary. On Python's speed increased, wrapped me around with his massive serpent area, and my figure shimmered. The willow dagger of 6 emotions pierced the python 7 inches with precision. Under the dagger, the snake that the python had raised went to the ground with a bang. It's like being nailed to the ground by this little dagger. There is no power to parry. Hiss. The python immediately looked frightened. It makes a small sound, like being in a prison. After predation, I figured out a 4. For snakes, I figured out that I might encounter a snake beast. This 6-emotion willow dagger. It's something I've prepared in advance. If you don't want to die, cooperate with me. I'm going to count what I want. Almost 2 hours later, the slate above the well opened again. Shui Mei came down with a basket of offerings and said, "Thank you for your help. Giant python is like a moving snake, and its mouth spits out human eyes. Tweme. A dull sound rang out from the bottom of the well. Tweme was stunned and said, "Is it Dyson's voice? How can you be willing to speak out after so many years? Cultivate for a breakthrough, and speak out naturally. No fuss. Wang Yajin has trapped me for many years. I heard he left something in your hand. What the hell is this?" The sound of a python. It was undoubtedly the sound I made as I pinched my throat. Tweme said, "Back to the immortal house. I don't know what he left behind." The thing was sealed in an 8 treasure box. The box can't be force opened. Why not find someone to open it? I thought to myself. The 8 treasure box is the product of the Jianghu Divine Machine, specially designed to store treasures. This kind of box is extremely mysterious. If the box is forcibly opened, it will self-destruct. The immortals don't know. Wang Yajin. He really called for wind and rain on the rivers and lakes during his lifetime. But not only did it leave us with no preacher, only his daughter's de-oiling bottle remained. I don't have the skills to find someone to open this 8 treasure box. Tweme said helplessly. I heard it too. Tweme has a deep grudge against Lao Huang. 8 treasure boxes for me. Then I spoke. The python was very cooperative with me and opened its bloody mouth. Tweme panicked. If the immortal family wants Tweme, it must be presented with both hands. But the 8 treasure boxes were given away by me before. The man's name was Wei Chunming. He couldn't get it back. I switched back to the python and didn't kill Tweme. He can't die for a while. Xiaxian's family does not kill. Then Tweme took Lin Suha away, leaving the bottom of this well. I stepped out of the shadows and stared at the python, hesitated to kill him directly. On python begged for mercy again. He suddenly slammed into the depths of the underground cavern like a snake. Seems to be taking me somewhere. I followed the python into the depths of the cavern. It took a while for the python to stop, and when I saw the scene in front of me, I was stunned. There was a large stone door deep in the underground cave at the bottom of the well. I jerked my gaze at the python. This python is just guarding the door. Lao Huang set up a bureau to bring me here. The purpose is the stone door. Sherman is very ordinary. There is no keyhole in the door, and there are no mechanisms. I put my hand on the stone door. Knock, 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 heart beating violently. I immediately withdrew my palm. Finally said to the python, "You keep this stone door well. Don't go anywhere." After observing the lower stone gate, it was found that the stone gate could not be opened for the time being. It seems that you have to get the 8 treasure boxes left by Lao Huang in order to decipher the secrets. After that, I quickly left the bottom of the well. After returning to the tea house, Sun Zhaoshan saw me. Immediately a hippie smile ran towards me. "Brother Shi, you are really a god. Ever since you helped me break the Flame Saint surgery, my little brother is in the dark every day," I said lightly. "I also thank you for helping me look at the store. I'm going to rest if it's okay." "Okay, get in touch with me if you have something. I can't do anything about the big things in the rivers and lakes, but Yinjing's little things are always commanding me." Sun Zhaoshan patted his chest and said. Then he took out a plastic box and gave it to me. "Say it's the latest iPhone. I was thinking about getting a phone. It's also quite convenient to take it." Then I rested. "The first thing you do when you wake up." "I'm going to go find Linsik." Asked Chui Mei who Wei Chunming is. "Because I have to get back the 8 treasure boxes that Lao Huang gave me." When I opened the tea house again, only to find an apology at the door, Lin Suk officially came to me. I asked directly about the confirmation. "Wei Chunming, do you know?" Lin Suha replied to me. "He is also proficient in the art of feng shui fortune-telling. He is also a man of the scriptures. Jianghu people give the nickname Dead Bodhisattva. Legend has it that there was a Bodhisattva temple where people offended him before, but it was only overnight. The bronze statue of Wan Yin, which is several feet high in Bodhisattva temple, has mysteriously disappeared. Finally, the bronze statue of Wan Yin was found in a mass grave dozens of miles away. People in the rivers and lakes say that he has the ability to kill the Bodhisattva himself. So Wei Chunming has this nickname." I said again, "Where is this man now? I don't seem to be photogenic lately. I don't know exactly where." Lin Suha thought for a while and said, "She is the person Ganyang has been stammering with recently. Ganyang wants to enter the circle of payment. Jianghu medical skills are respected. Ganyang's hospital wants to be bigger. You need someone to refer you. This person is Wei Chunming." Now I cleared my mind. Eyebrows are urged with the 8 treasure boxes left by Lao Huang. Go to Wei Chunming. Let Wei Chunming help him enter the leather door of the 7 gates. You've been resting at home lately. If Wei Chunming returns to Yanjing, you use this phone to contact me." Lin Suha hurriedly refused. "It's too expensive for me to want." I laughed. "Compared to your father's kindness to me, a mobile phone is nothing. Take it and let me borrow yours." Lin Suha accepted it. When he's leaving, Lin Suha asked suddenly, "Mister, can you accompany me to play the Ferris wheel in 5 days?" After I said yes, Lin Suha left happily. And in the afternoon, a courier came from outside the tea house. "Hongshan Express, please sign for it." The courier handed me a package. I didn't buy anything. After unpacking the parcel, inside is a picture with a watch. Where was the courier delivered? Number 6 Wang Fujian Park. It was sent by Mr. Sun Zhaoling. The courier said. I nodded and signed for the landscape painting. The painting depicts the period of Xuanzong of the Tang dynasty, the scene of the clear palace from the mountain. Subsequently, I hung it on the wall of the store. And yet just as I hung up the studio, something suddenly occurred to me, and then I went back to this picture. A white chip was placed in a drawer inside the table, and I lay down in a rocking chair to rest. Soon after, he fell asleep. In my dreams, I seem to be in a carriage. There are horses and soldiers in front of the road, and there are guards in the back. Soon the carriage stopped, and I walked into the palace. A seductive woman, as white as snow and rain, came towards me. She took my hand, led me into the steaming spoon inside the palace. The beauty lip fragrance is crazy, and just when it gets to the critical point, suddenly, a white sorrow strangled the woman's neck. I snapped my eyes open. The dream is shattered. At the same time I reached out, grabbed her wrist tightly. A bewitching woman appeared in the tea house. She happened to have a knife in her hand. The chilly knife was pointed straight at the center of my brow. If only I had woken up at 1 o'clock in the evening. Then this knife can take my life in no time. Finally couldn't help it. I've been waiting for you for a long time. I sneered. The woman's wrist was grabbed by me. She looked at me in alarm. How can you possibly wake up from a dream? I walked to the drumming diagram of the mountain. Take out the white clown from the drawer. When the woman sees this white ugly, her eyes widened. Then I used this white ugly, tied the woman's hands, made her completely incapacitated. I asked unhurriedly, send me a name picture to hook my dream soul. You are the dancing girl of the Yan Shengsheng tree under Sunjiaoshan. This painting was not given by Mr. Sun at all. It was the palace of Tang Xuanzong and Yang Guifei. Someone should have used the burial things left by Yang Guifei in the world. Let this remark give birth to evil intentions. So far, famous paintings have become famous paintings. It can make people fall into nightmares. It's just that I prepared a white feud in advance. Yang Guifei died because of white revenge. Her evil intentions are naturally also afraid of white hatred. So I came to my senses at the critical moment. I sneered, come to my territory and do it to me. You're underestimating me. The warrior girl struggled violently again. Let me go, or you'll regret it. I picked up the samurai knife on the ground. Thought for a moment. You are the one who asks for life. The Soul Gate is a sect formed by professional killers. Jing Hu in the Warring States period is leaving. Is the ancestor of this door. There are 7 up and 8 down in the rivers and lakes. Among them feng shui resembles the golden gate of the tree. The leather doors that sell medicine belong to the 7 doors. And this life-seeking gate belongs to the 8 lower gates. The shrine maiden stared at me and said, Sun Jialing found a powerful person this time. I killed 99 of her men. I wanted to show her son and the 100 people to torture her son. But today, I will plant it in the hands of your boy. If you have the guts, you will kill me. I was a little surprised to hear this. Killed 99 people in a row. He also has some skills. Then I untied the white feud tied to his hands. Slap him on the cheek. Said, I'm not a killer. Don't trouble me from now on. Hear me say that. The shrine maiden quickly disappeared into the darkness. And he left. A burning incense stick appeared in my hand. This incense is called time. I've puffed into the dust of time on his cheeks. All you need to do is light the time again. You can track the whereabouts of this person. The shrine maiden comes from a locking door. Locking lives has always been about collecting money and doing things. So I deliberately let Wu Nu go. I want to see who is behind her. I follow the instructions for burning smoke. Follow Wu Nu away. But what I didn't expect was this. After I tracked it for 2.5 hours, the smoke of Thymika suddenly stopped. Just when I was wondering, suddenly, I saw an uninhabited grove not far away. I walked away quickly. There was a bloody breath in the air. I saw a person falling on top of an old tree. It is the Wu girl who lost the door of life. She was stabbed in the throat. Then he was forcibly dropped on an old tree. I had a bad premonition. Returned to the tea house immediately. I saw black smoke constantly coming out of the tea house. There was a faint glow of fire flickering in the tea house. Someone is going to burn down my tea house. My heart sank. After entering the tea house, it was found that it was the picture of the hanging drum from the mountain that was burning. The fire did not spread, destroying only one wall. And when this picture of the hanging drum from the mountain was burned, a bloody side was left on the blackened walls. The side door in the door is bullied. I don't have to look for who is behind the dancer. The other party took the initiative to report his name. The so-called side door is the resale of antique wanwan in the rivers and lakes. Collect a line drawn by a famous artist. Most of the auction houses are well known in society, as well as many financial institutions that can be regarded as side door industries. If it is said, the Golden Gate of Feng Shui is the first of the 7 gates. Then this side door is the richest one on the rivers and lakes. This tea house is something that Lao Huang left me. He had only been in charge for a few days before someone tried to destroy him. I can't take it. Whoever burns my tea house will pay the price. I turned my phone back on. It didn't take long to find out what I was looking for. Map of the valley from the mountain. All the things of Yanjing Sedum Tianha Auction House. Sedum River Auction House is the leading boss of Yanjing Auction House. The moon is dark and the wind is high. I was standing in front of a stunning gray auction building. Sedum River Building. In my hand, I held a talisman I had prepared. Fu Lushu reprimanded the order to turn to ghosts and gods. I ignite the runes. At the same time, the rune road followed the breeze towards the building. The lighted rune was attached directly to the door of the building. When returning to the tea house, I watched as billowing smoke rose into the sky in the distance. Next, Sun Xiaoshan ran in and shouted, "Something big is wrong. Something is wrong. The building of the Yinjing Sedum Tianhe auction house. Last night it was set on fire. I don't know which cow on the rivers and lakes. I'm back. What are you fuss about? Call you to give me a rest." Then Sun Xiaoshan was suddenly surprised. Look at one of the charred walls of the tea house. "Yin, why did you burn this? Is not careful. Or which little cub who didn't have long eyes set the fire? You said I was going to teach him a lesson." I whispered. Side door Sedum River. Sun Xiaoshan seemed to have thought of something. Stunned, I said, "Don't make me sleep. By the way, find someone to help me fix this charred wall." Took this thing on a crutch. Interpersonal criticism meeting. It was an officer promotion meeting for me. The old man would like to invite you to Lilin for some advice. The location is in the interpersonal hall of Hohai in Yinjing. Sun Xiaoshan said with a smile. I asked with a smile, "When will this start?" "Just tomorrow." Sun Xiaoshan replied to me. Tomorrow I hesitate. Said that I accepted the plot. This interpersonal criticism will be. I may not have time to pass. Classical Chinese. Sun Xiaoshan's face immediately became disappointed. Alright, if you change your mind. The interpersonal hall is always waiting. After speaking, Sun Xiaoshan sighed in frustration and left the tea house. I put away the invitation. I'll go if it were a different time. But not tomorrow. I haven't forgotten the agreement with Lin Suha. Tomorrow I have to take Lin Suha to ride the Ferris wheel. It's tomorrow. I waited patiently in the tea house. It was noon. Still didn't see the shadow of Lin Suha. Then I immediately went to the courtyard. The gate was closed, and the courtyard was empty. I thought that the phone has a location function. Finally, follow the positioning. I found a cell phone repair booth on the side of the street. The stall owner is fiddling with a broken mobile phone. Who sent this phone? I asked. It was sent by a beautiful little girl. That little girl hid from her mother and didn't know who to contact. It smashed like this. The stall owner said. Yin, I asked again. Where did they go? It seems to say that I am going to some kind of Rinjiting. I didn't hear clearly. Rinjido. I took the invitation card that Sun Xiaoshan gave me. I came to Rinjido. Outside the hall, I saw Cui Mei and Lin Suha. Cui Mei dressed up to play today. Dress up elegantly and luxuriously. I was talking to an old man. As for Lin Suha, her eyes were red and her face was stained with tears. You're really not dead. Soon Cui Mei found out and I was shocked. Come with me, I said to Lin Suha. But Cui Mei grabbed Lin Suha's arm. Vertical vocal tract. Where to go? Dead girl, you're not allowed to go anywhere today. Cui Mei unceremoniously pulled Lin Suha behind her. At this time, Lin Suha checked up and begged. I don't want to stay here. Dad has been dead for more than a decade. My identity is hateful. I beg you, let me be free for a while, okay? Smack. Cui Mei's slap slapped Lin Suha's face mercilessly. Cui Mei spoke indifferently. You have to listen to whatever I say. Wang Yajin is dead. Your mother is not there. You have to listen to me. Someone came and brought the young lady into the human sacrifice hall. Don't go anywhere. Then there were two of Cui Mei's subordinates. Forcibly took Lin Suha into the round sacrifice hall. Cui Mei gave me a dismissive look. She paid no attention to it. Instead, he said to the old man on the side. Cui Mei's family affairs. Let the directors laugh. Let's go into the church too. Everyone nodded and walked towards the shrine. I'm ready to go in when everyone is gone. Apology, sir. You can't go in there. The security receptionist stopped me. I had an invitation. I took out the invitation that Sun Xiaoshan gave me. The security guard was emotionless, saying that it was not okay to have an invitation. The security guard was very understanding of bureau and stopped me from entering. Tie up Cui Mei. Sun Xiaoshan kicked the security guard in the lower abdomen. That's my starting point. I personally delivered his plot to the door. After entering the hall, Sun Xiaoshan took me directly to the box on the second floor. There are 4 levels within the door. The most ordinary doorman, officers with a certain level of seniority, the Li clan who wields a certain amount of power, and the leader of the Pimen. Sun Xiaowang is nominally the chairman of the National Assembly, and in the rivers and lakes is the leader of Pimen. A few hours later, it finally officially opened. The old man of the Li clan spoke. My leather door has been through the wind and rain for hundreds of years. Dozens of Li's names were confessed. Now inside the leather door. The Li family is only 5 people. Discussed by the Li Association. The leader agreed to decide on a Li in heaven. The rules of the rivers and lakes are fair. All officers who enter the venue are eligible to participate, if you complete the exam questions that Li will give. He entered the Li clan and became the 6th Li clan in my leather gate. Someone who comes asked for something. Then an attendant came out with a wooden box. The attendant opens the box. There's a black zone doll inside. This object is from the wood of the medical saint Zhang Zhongjing. Whoever knows it, To enter the Li Plant Society. The old man of the Li family said in a deep voice. At this time, Sun Xiaoshan explained to me with a smile. It stands to reason. The questions in my payment exam are all related to medical skills. But today there are those who are predestined. The questions have also changed. This object is special. It is almost impossible for ordinary letter officers to know each other. I understand the language thoroughly. Today's interpersonal payment meeting. It's actually a show. A show specially prepared for Chui Mei. I looked at Sun Xiaoshan and asked, "Can I participate?" Sun Xiaoshan replied me excitedly. "Yes, of course. I'll go and inform the old man right away. If the root of the leather door is added, that's invincible in this world. Word or dead." Sun Xiaoshan hurriedly walked toward the outside of the box. Soon after, the old man of the Li family spoke up. Participants slapped the mahogany table. After he finished speaking, no one below slapped the table. As Sun Xiaoshan said, all the officers present looked at the black puppet in confusion, and no one recognized it. Only the box on the second floor sounded the sound of slapping the table. There is no doubt that the person in this box is Chui Mei. Please ask Officer Chui Mei to come down. The old man of the Li family spoke up. And that's when I banged the table. When I slammed the table, everyone was stunned. All eyes were on my box. Good for a while. Only then did the old man of the Li family speak with a voice of surprise. "Please let the people in the private room come down." I went down the first floor. Chui Mei's eyes widened when she saw my fork. "How can you get into the box on the second floor?" "Either that's my Pieman Li, or the most honored guest of my leather door." The old man of the Li family looked at me suspiciously. "Young man, what are you coming from?" I said calmly. "Never mind where I'm coming from. Now that I can be in this man's sacrifice hall, that means I'm eligible to participate in this promotion." The old man of the Li family said after a moment of deep drinking, "Write the answer on a wooden board." Then one of the attendants took a plank and placed it in front of me. At the same time, Chui Mei also had a wooden plank in front of her. Chui Mei was still puzzled, but soon he concentrated on picking up the brush at hand. The answer was written on a wooden board. I also wrote the answer on a wooden board. A total of 2 people participated in the officer promotion meeting. The answers to the questions are attached to the wooden board. Whoever answers correctly, he is the 6th director of my payment. The elder of the council was born by purchasing 2 planks. Then he directly made the answer written by Chui Mei public. Since ancient times, ladies are preferred. So let's take a look at Chui Mei's answer first. Yao Tong Fairy Puppet. This is the answer written by Chui Mei. Chui Mei stood on a high platform and spoke. The puppet held by Zhou Li. Its name is Yao Tong Fairy Doll. It's just 100 bricks. After refining with 100 herbs, it is contaminated with 100 bloods. It has the miraculous effect of disease. It is rumored that a seriously ill person holds this thing. It will be fine if it does not follow for 3 days. The old man of the Li family continued at this moment. Another answer will be announced. When I wrote the answer on the board, public is important. Everyone froze. Stone is just 2 words. Chui Mei was stunned for a moment and laughed. Then the leather door in the hall. The crowd laughed. The old man of the Li family looked at me speechlessly and said, "All right. Next, I would like to invite our leaders. Announce the person who answered correctly, according to the rules of the rivers and lakes. Ask the leader to throw down the balls. The person who the ball falls on is our psychological matter. Occasionally, a colored ball falls from above. It landed firmly in front of me." Chui Mei's face suddenly changed greatly. The old man of the Li family was stunned, immediately relieved and looked up and said, "Leader, are you misplaced?" That's when it happened. A tall man rushed down from the stairs. Sun Xiaoshan shouted, "What's wrong? That's right. I just got off my dad's." It was Mr. Chen Shi who answered correctly. Chui Mei came back to her senses and immediately said anxiously, "No, this is to be the same as the fairy puppet. Director Zhou, this is clearly to be the same as the fairy puppet. I got the exam questions right. I'm the new time and director." That's when it happened. Sun Xiaowen walked to the hall on the first floor. He was followed by 4 old men who had come out of the box, plus the weekly director who presided. Exactly the 5 directors of Tainan today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you. Mr. Chan Shi officially joined the board of directors. It's the 6th member of the board of directors. Sun Xiaowen said in a deep voice. He was in the men's sharp WeChat. No one dared to speak out against Sun Xiaowen. Chui Mei took out a letter in a panic and said, "I have a letter of recommendation from Wei Chunming." The leader was Wei Chunming of Kinmen. Wei Chunming of Kinmen, the head of the 7 gates. Sun Xiaowen glanced at Chui Mei coldly. Didn't speak. Chui Mei immediately called Lin Suha again. Lin Suha, who stayed in the box, was forcibly pulled down by Chui Mei. He said that this was the daughter of Huang Yangjin back then. The leader is on her face. Sun Xiaowen made the final decision. That's it. Chui Mei's face was as gray as death. During this period my attention, actually, it's been on the black doll all along. Until Chui Mei brought Lin Suha down. Every time you exit, there were only 5 trustees left in the hall. There are also Sun Xiaowen father and son. Leader. The directors are thus elected. It's a little unconvincing. Director Zhou, who presided over the meeting, he opened his mouth with a wry smile. Yes, leader. Now my leather door and side door are incompatible. That Chui Mei has the help of kinmen. In this way, we offended Wei Shuming again. Another trustee spoke. They all have great opinions. At this moment, I walked towards the black puppet in the hall. That is, the medicine boy fairy puppet that Chui Mei said. I grabbed the black doll violently. What are you doing, young man? Zhou exclaimed. The people of the Li Society looked at me again. Sun Xiaowen also stared at me. I pushed slowly. This precious medicine boy fairy doll. I pinched it into powder. Aids. Zhou spoke up, and his voice has not yet been recorded. The medicine boy fairy doll has been completely pinched into powder. But when the surface of this black doll turns to ash, there was a reddish stone hidden in it. The stones are irregular in shape, like the eyes of a demon. The 5 Li were stunned. Sun Xiaoling's eyes widened. Only that Sun Zhaoshan exclaimed and spoke, singing, "This black doll is really a stone." I pinched the red stone and my arm trembled a little. It was as if there was an exploding force on all sides of my arm. "What is this, sir?" Sun Xiaoling found that something was wrong and asked out loud. I'm not going to write the word stone on a board for no reason. When I saw the black doll in the box, I had a vague guess. Until I came to this hall. It was only after getting up close and personal with the black dolls that I was sure. This will crush the puppet. Let the blood-colored stone in it be revealed. The 5 P&N directors are not ordinary people. They felt the strangeness of the blood-colored stone. Immediately asked in a loud voice, "What the hell is this, young man?" I asked Sun Xiaowen rhetorically. "This medicine boy fairy doll. How did you get it?" "Not a few days ago. It appears in a blackstone shop. Because this thing is related to my P&N ancestor Zhang Zhongjing. I bought it for a lot of money." The medicine boy fairy doll is the legendary ancestor of Zhang Zhongjing, a strange thing made by a secretary. I'm going to use it as an exam question today. Sun Xiaowen nodded and said. I pinched the blood-colored stone and whispered, "What kind of legendary thing is the medicine boy fairy puppet? It's just the breath of people. Nothing but scruples. This bloodstone is truly a legendary thing." The crowd was shocked again. "Young man, I'm misunderstanding you. I didn't expect there to be a stone in the doll." The moment this bloodstone appeared, I felt sick all over. "So what the hell is this stone?" one of the trustees asked. I was immersed in the earth. The thing that destroys the door. The thing that destroys the door. Everyone on the side was dumbfounded. Director Zhou smiled back. "Don't talk nonsense, young man. My skin door has existed in the rivers and lakes for hundreds of years. Do you say that you will destroy the door?" I spoke up. "The leather door will not go away, but not necessarily for the trustees." Director Zhou said angrily, "Though there are leaders to protect you, but you are not too disrespectful to us to speak." The rest of the directors said very unhappily, "Don't be too majestic, boy, and always listen. What can a stone do to me?" At this time, Sun Xiaoling spoke. "Don't make any noise." Mr. Jean continued. I asked Sun Xiaoling rhetorically, "You can know the storm stone?" Sun Xiaoling nodded and said, "A strange stone taken from Mount Qilian. It's the treasure of kinmen, used in feng shui. It has the effect of warming and moistening the house, calming the mind and nourishing the soul." I replied slowly, "This blood-colored stone also comes from Qilian Mountain. One purple stone can be produced out of 1,000 storm stones. Sell your stone patrol in Qilian Mountain for decades. You might even find the storm stone. You have been patrolling the rocks for hundreds of years. You may not be able to find a purple stone. The name of this thing is called Zujin Stone. If it is said that the Windwave Stone is a stone to stabilize the feng shui townhouse, then this ancestral stone is the evil stone of the people who have fallen suddenly. As long as it is touched, it will all die miserably. The people of Kenan are extraordinary in their medical skills, but they don't know much about strange things." Sun Xiaoling asked, "Could it be that my skin door was cursed with the ancestral stone? Similar to the curse of the erotic victory, right?" I said, "This calamity technique is much more sophisticated than the glamorous victory technique. The art of winning the other party's beauty is taken harm to the individual. Calamity is a technique to take the evil things that are naturally formed in heaven and earth. We're a family of people. See what I said is the word." A few of the Lis still didn't believe me, but no one has spoken out to refute it. This time, Sun Zhaoshan said angrily, "Who the hell is the other party? Before the next curse to deal with. Now send a plague to deal with me." Sun Xiaolong immediately asked me the key. There is this means, and there is this motive. It seems that it is indeed the side door that is the most suspicious. The passage of time does not bring down the number of calamities. It also needs to have a door of luck for it. And the place of luck of the sect is in the ancestral hall. Then Sun Xiaoling led the crowd. I came to the ancestral hall of Pimen. The ancestral hall of the patriarch is located in a feng shui in Yinjing, the land of home. The ancestral hall of the patriarch was locked in a big lock. The walls are tall and famous, and the whistles are the sentrymen. Under the leadership of Sun Xiaoling, our group entered the ancestral hall. The incense in the ancestral hall is flourishing. In the center are 2 statues. Saint Zhang Zhongjin once Wang Sun Ximiao. These 2 are the ancestors of Pimen. Sun Xiaoling took 2 incense sticks. I bowed to these 2 ancestors first. He then said to me, "Sir credited us. You should also remember to worship these two ancestors. I shook my head with my white hands. There is only one ancestor below. That's the Emperor. Pima ancestor Zhang Zhengjin's son is also good for 4 seconds. Even Kinman's Oriental Shuaguopu. I'm not qualified to be my grandfather. At this time, Director Zhou was completely angry. The kid is too presumptuous. The old man thinks he has a good temper. But you're going too far. Don't worship our ancestors. What kind of leather man is he? Zhuangda is right. Our people are not defeated by their ancestors. What kind of words is this? Several other counselors on the side also chimed in. Sun Xiaolong also looked at me in embarrassment. I don't know what to say. Only Sun Zhaoshan spoke for me with a big grin. Old man Zhou Chuangda. I have a lot of skills. If you are undefeated, you will not be defeated. Where did so many things come from? I'm a bento. I volunteer to be a member of the Outer Gate Council, the so-called Outer Door Director. It is equivalent to the honorary principal in the society with a name. Do not enjoy the Doran's special decision. In this way, I don't have to defeat my grandfather. Sun Xiaolong nodded and agreed. In this way, several of Li's mouths were blocked. I came to the ancestral hall. The bloodstone in my hand was even more agitated. The ancestral stone exudes a trace of blood, and the dance is incomparably demonic. I secretly said something wrong. The color of the ancestral stone is too deep. It proves that most of the aura in the ancestral hall has become the shadow of the ancestral stone. And the aura in the ancestral hall also represents the disciples of Piman. I'm afraid that all the Piman disciples are under this ancestral gold stone, caught in a spell of calamity. I said to Sun Jiaowang, bring the disciples in the ancestral hall to the side. At this time, Sun Zhaoshan found a disciple book from the ancestral hall and said, Brother Shi, I found it. I'm straight to say. Open, turn to your side. And a moment later, Sun Zhaoshan was directly stunned and motionless. What's going on? Sun Jiaowang immediately leaned over to look. He flipped through the pages sharply. It's all blank. Why the name is gone? Brother Shi, what's going on? Sun Zhaoshan swallowed and said, I also waited a little bit to arrive. The other party's means are not bad. As long as you come to this season to worship the ancestor of the leather door, the name of the person whose name disappeared from the book of disciples, it is difficult to escape the calamity of Zhu Jinshi. Thousands of rins are the largest. The number of calamities first falls on you. But listen to me or not. The decision is all up to you. Listen to you. Sun Xiaowang's means to me. It's still more trusting. The 5 Lis still looked at me in disbelief. Again, I set my sights on the portraits of the 2 ancestors. Then he shouted, Sun Zhaoshan, smash these 2 statues. As soon as this remark came out, everyone was angry. Outrageous. What are you talking about? Zhou Shuangda's face turned red in an instant, and he pointed at me and said angrily, too much deception. Regardless of whether this is the ancestral spirit of your mouth or not. In the end, there is no such thing as a calamity. The rest is as long as I am Han Shirley. No one is allowed to smash the statue of my Piman patriarch. The rest of the Li clan said angrily. I frowned and looked at the ancestral stone in my hand. It will be too late. At this time, Zhou Shuangda's face was gloomy and said to Sun Jiaowang, Leader, inside the leather door, you are full of words. But we have the whole decision-making power in a Li society. I, Zhou Chuangda, want to remove him from the position of the Li family. This son does not respect my Piman patriarch. I will drive him out of the ancestral hall. Ladies and gentlemen, you can agree. Agree. Han Shirling was the first to speak. Then the other 3 also agreed with Zhou Chuangda's words in unison. Agree in full. Sun Xiaowang immediately stepped forward and retreated. In this atmosphere where the smell of gunpowder is so strong, even the grinning Sun Zhaoshan didn't dare to squeak. Wang was at this moment. The ancestral stone in my hand suddenly made a slight sound. I saw the old man named Han Shirling. Suddenly, it felt like I was in a shoe. He hit his head on the wall of the ancestral hall. Bang bang bang. Smashing it once is not enough. Han Shirling frantically slammed into the wall without any fate. Han Shirling's actions immediately surprised everyone. Shout Li. What are you doing? Stop. Zhou Chuangda can't take care of it. I'm the Li's seat. Check it out right away. Fast. If you don't want to die, you will smash the face. Sun Zhaoshan smashed the face. I shouted again. This is just the beginning. There will be people looking for death next. Until everyone is dead. After Sun Zhaoshan came back to his senses, and he went towards the 2 statues. But then he said, singing, I can't move. Such a strong Sun Zhaoshan. I can't move a half-wall tall figure. Just when I wondered. Sun Xiaowang shouted, get out of the way. Sun Xiaowang came to the 2 statues. A portrait of one hand. Pick it up and smash it on the ground. Fear. The 2 statues of the ancestor shattered to the ground. Han Shirlin stopped hitting the wall. His head had been smashed to the point of flesh and blood. After stopping, he also passed out. And when the 2 figures that hooked the charm of the leather door were smashed, the ancestral spirit stone in my hand calmed down. But what makes me wonder is, why can't Sun Zhaoshan move the portrait? I waved my hand at Sun Zhaoshan and said, go and bring the disciple's book. Sun Zhaoshan took the disciple book and took the lead in reading it. He shouted, there's a name, old man. You've got your name. The names of several other directors are also available," said. Sun Xiaoshan handed me the disciple book. I looked at it thoughtfully. Smashed the portrait of the grandfather. The calamity of the rulers of Pimen who were present at this moment was solved. Naturally, their names appear in the Book of Disciples. To my surprise. Even so, there is no name of Sun Xiaoshan. Combined with the fact that he couldn't pull the portrait of the ancestor just now, I quickly understood. I'm afraid this Prince Pimen is like me. Nor is it a real leather man. That's a strange thing. You must know that even if Sun Xiaoshan is not learning, he has no skills. Nor will it be out of the door. Mr. Chang Gate. The family is convinced. I don't have Mr. Chun as a member of the board of directors. It's really my pleasure. Sun Xiaoling looked at me and threw himself to the ground. The rest of the directors also looked approvingly. Zhou Shuangda looked at Han Shirling, who had fallen to the ground, and said, "I was reckless before. Apologize to Director Shin. In a few days, I will come to the door in person to thank you." Then the other directors took Han Shirling to the hospital and left. I said in a deep voice, "The number of the plagues of the people of Pimen is unsolved." At this moment, the only people who were saved were 6 people, including Sun Xiaoling. There are still hundreds of Pimen disciples who have not solved the calamity. Sir must help me get through this difficult time. Sun Xiaoling spoke nervously. I tried my best. I promised. It's easy to solve the number of plagues for 6, but it will be very difficult to help the entire leather door survive this catastrophe. Sun Xiaoling asked me after a moment of silence. Do I need to use all my extra personal connections? Find out who is behind this ancestral stone. No, you don't. I shook my head and said, "Why?" Sun Xiaoling was puzzled. I still shook my head. It doesn't make much sense to find out who is behind Zhu Jinshi. In addition, the existence of the number of calamities. Not people. Sun Xiaoshan was extremely shocked. Brother Shi, what do you mean by that? President's son, help me find a few things. Probably later. I didn't name him, but told Sun Xiaoling. To help Pimen solve the calamity once and for all. Need the help of an external force. Some things are hard to find. You need to have a certain network and resources. No problem. Sir, you say. I'll write it down. Sun Xiaoling took out a box of pens and papers. I started to say what I needed. And at this moment, Sun Xiaoshan suddenly shouted. Sun Xiaoling's face did not overstep. What did the rebel do in shock? I saw Sun Xiaoshan looking at the side of the disciple he was holding in his hand. Said with trembling hands. Daddy, brother, look. There is another name in this book of disciples. I looked at Sun Xiaoling and I. Sure enough, in the blank space of the disciple's book, 2 more black words appeared. Jinshi. Sun Xiaoshan is terrifying. Brother Shi, you weren't in this book of disciples before. How can your name suddenly appear? Sun Xiaoling gave Sun Xiaoshan a slap in the face. Aren't, my husband and I are here. It's just you wandering around the ancestral hall. Did you write it secretly? Do you know that the names on the disciples' books can't be scribbled? Oh man, what are you talking about? How could I not know that the stakes were high? I didn't write it at all. Sun Xiaoshan said it briefly. Sun Xiaoling wanted to say something, but I stopped him. I smiled coldly. It was not written by Sun Xiaoshan. Soon the name will be gone. And my words fell. Then a star-red demonic light flashed. My name is on the book of disciples. Gradually, it disappeared again. This Sun Xiaoshan was shocked. I said calmly, it's not a big deal. Put this book of disciples back. President's son, I have ready what I want. In addition, I will keep this ancestral gold stone first. I don't want to say more. The father and son of the Sun family did not ask again. I then left the Pimen ancestral hall with the Zujin stone. And when I stepped out of the ancestral hall with my front feet, there were a few high-pitched, eerie laughs in my ears. Knots. I stopped. Little spirit, take me to the dust and name it. Led me into a calamity. I was going to kill you on the spot. But I'm going on a date tonight, and I'm going to spare your life for the time being. The name that suddenly appeared on the side of the disciple. It is this evil spirit that does it. And even the existence of the calamity technique on the people of Pimen. It's the same spirit, the so-called evil spirit. It is a spiritual thing formed by the accumulation of evil chi for a long time. Unlike ghosts. If there are still good ones among the ghosts. These demons are almost all demons that kill people and don't have long eyes. The stars are extremely fierce, and the stars are extremely strong in revenge. Ordinary people are no matter how strong they are. It is also impossible to set up the art of calamity himself. It's too hurtful. Normal people simply can't stand the karma brought about by the calamity technique. So you can only look for evil spirits. The culprit behind it borrowed the head of the evil spirit. Use the ancestral essence stone to use the scourge technique on the leather gate. Here's why. In this tightly guarded Pimen ancestral hall, the opponent can also use the luck of this place to cast calamity. The evil spirit is formless and incorporeal. The persistence of the ancestral hall is nothing but a void for him. I started to help Sun Xiaoling and others get rid of the number of calamities. The evil spirit took a grudge against me. I wrote my name in the book of disciples. Let me also be involved in the calamity. And to help the people of Pimen solve the number of disasters. The key lies in this evil spirit. It stands to reason that I should have done something to this demon on the spot. But after all, it will take a little time to deal with him. In order to get to the appointment on time, I'll let him be arrogant for the time being. I immediately found a taxi. Go to the park, agreed with Lin Suha. It was completely dark. I don't know if he's still around. From a distance, I saw Lin Suha running towards me happily. It's been a long time, I said apologetically. Something went wrong and there was a delay. I can't ride the Ferris wheel with you, Lin Suha said innocently and romantically. Just with Mr. We can also be under the Ferris wheel. It's also good to look at the stars and the moon. Saying that, Lin Suha pulled me, sitting on a bench on the side of the road in the park. He whispered, tell me when my dad is still around. If I like to look at the stars with anyone in the future. A marriage certificate is nothing but a contract. It is the last proof that comes naturally. In addition, what is hidden behind the stone gate under the courtyard? What was in the 8 treasure boxes that were taken away by Wei Chunming? What else did Lao Huang do in front of him? Before unraveling these, it's not time to get out the marriage papers. Just when I was enjoying my time in love, Lin Suha, who was next to me, suddenly stopped talking. I saw that his bright eyes suddenly fell into distraction, staring blankly at the night sky. There are ghosts in the sky, and there are ghosts and ghosts. Lin Suha began to repeat a sentence mechanically. It's like I'm unconscious. Seeing this, my face changed instantly. The voice was furious. I wanted you to live a little longer. Now it seems it's me who gave you face. Then I immediately thumbs it up. Lin Suha put back in the position of 4 inches and 5 after school, forced to fall asleep. He just looked at the sky. It's under the influence of evil spirits. The evil spirits in the Taiman ancestral hall followed. It even frightened Lin Suha. A rune appeared in my hand. As the emperor's heir, exorcism can be said to be my specialty. Pure heaven and earth charm. The moment Fu Lu appeared, a gray cloud of gas appeared in the sky. This gray gas is the evil spirit. It is under the reverence of heaven and earth in my hands. Colors visible to the naked eye are revealed. This suit can overcome all the evil spirits in the world. It also has an unparalleled suppressive effect on evil spirits. I'll say it again. Since you took the initiative to seek death, I will fulfill you. And at this moment, the evil spirit immediately became a mess towards Ling Suha's body. This can be out of my back bell. The mantra came out of my mouth. Heavenly Jasper leads you. Shake out and shake into the underworld. Spirit shit, treacherous, evil spirits and thieves are all gone. It's like a psychic mind. Floating dew immediately tracked the demon away at great speed. Soon, the evil spirit made a cry of great pain. False evil is easy to destroy, but evil is difficult to destroy. The hardest thing is to shatter the evil. Evil spirits, look at the bell in my hand. It's not like where you're going to be. At this time, I did not rush to extinguish the evil spirit. Instead, he took out a bell tied with a red string. Destroying the evil spirits is not the solution to the Pyramon Scourge tree. I need to suppress this evil spirit first. Under the revelation of the law, I shook the bell in my hand. There seemed to be a sharpness in the bell. Forcibly take away the ringer. The gray air in the air. It's slowly entering the bell. After the bell is subdued, I frowned and wondered. Although the bell has ambitions, but at most the minds of 7 or 8-year-olds. It's normal for him to do something to me, and I'm bad for him. But why did he target Lin Suha? Not much. Lin Suha slowly came to his senses. He said in a trembling voice, Mister, I just saw a ghost. I patted him and said, I've solved it. Go back and rest. Finally, I hailed a taxi on the side of the road. Let him go back first. I didn't leave the park. Instead, he looked at the bell in his hand. Who this person is? Tell me, it's who controls you. I asked the bell. The bell doesn't reply. I smiled coldly. He began to shake the bell in his hand. The bell again screamed in pain. It was like a spell that tormented the spirit. This bell is called a Forbidden Soul Bell. It's a dragon for evil spirits. I'll ask again. Who told you to do it to the girl next to me? Lao Huang before he died. I made an oath in his presence. Who dares to move Lin Suha? I need to uproot it. Immediately, the demon made a series of strange sounds. He doesn't seem to be able to speak yet. Right now, suddenly a crow flew in the sky, and a blank piece of paper fell from the crow's feet. I picked up the blank paper and looked at it. Whoever you are. The burning of the Jingtian River. We have already written down this hatred. Tonight is just a reminder. If you want to continue to help Taiman, it's no longer as simple as intimidation. That's what the gesture on the blank sheet of paper is warning me. After reading it, I smiled coldly. It's really a side door. Since you threatened me with the spirit book box, and don't blame me for being rude. Come to think of it, I took out the same spirit and said to the evil spirit, from now on, if you're willing to help me, it's good. If you don't want to help me, you have to do whatever I say. Otherwise, I'll leave you in a forbidden soul path, tormented by warriors. Wraiths cannot speak, but he can understand human speech. Under my coercion, he immediately did not dare to stir up. Take me to the ancestral hall at the side entrance. I'm here again. The wraith slowly rose into the air. The same ancestral hall is also tightly adhered to. Again, I commanded the wraiths. Find the disciples' side in the ancestral hall of the side gate. Dare to threaten me with spirituality. Then I will take all the disciples of the side gate as hostages. Repay others in their own way. Under my command. The Wraith has been dispatched. Wraiths have the ability to influence people's minds. Ordinary people can't stop the resentful spirits at all. The person who guarded the ancestral hall at the side gate, affected by the spirit of the Wraith, slouched and let me in. I had a dazzling array of antiques in front of me. This side gate ancestral hall. It's a small museum. In the center is a figure holding a book. He is the ancestor of the side door, Xingchen, who compiled historical records. I already have a disciple's book in my hand. It has the names of all the people at the side door written on it. At the same time, it connects the luck of all the side disciples. I looked at the Wraith again. Perform the curse art one more time. The key to Zhu Jinshi is in my hands. The Wraith, the caster, is also in my hands. I'm even more in the place of luck at the side door. Holding the disciple's book of the side door, I have all the ingredients to perform the spell of calamity. There is a threat from the soul purifying bell. The spirits dare not disobey my commands. She began to practice on the Zujin stone. The red light on the Zujin stone bloomed again. In the dark, Zhu Jinshi seems to have hooked the entire ancestral hall's chi domain. After a while, the name on the disciple's side gradually disappeared. Once again, the number of calamities was cast. Back in the bell. After using the Wraith, I said to him, the Wraith was a little reluctant, but I'm afraid of the bell in my hand. In the end, he could only obediently enter the soul-purifying bell. I put the disciple back in its original position, left the ancestral hall. It's as if nothing had happened. When I got to the tea house, I fell asleep. 2 days later, Li from Piment came to the door, led by Zhou Chuangde and the other 4 Li clans. Chun-Li's. I'm waiting to accompany Li to apologize. This is my treasured old body. And not only him. Several other Li also held gifts. Especially Han Shirling. He carried several bags of things. It looks like they're all valuable medicinal herbs. I nodded. It just so happens that I have something to look for you. Let's just talk about it together. Chun, please. Zhou Chuangde looked at me and said. That's when I walked over to the calendar. Day after tomorrow in morning and afternoon. Gather all the people of Pimen. There is no wind in the Incense Mountains. Is it because of the art of calamity? Han Shirling thought of something. I nodded. This day is just right. And noon is the time point when Yin turns young in heaven and earth. It's a good time for a meandering rhythm. In addition, Yinjing's fragrant mountains are full of grandeur. It has a helpful effect on the art of relieving calamity. Han Shirling immediately answered. This is easy to solve. After all, their lives are at stake. Just tell them about the calamity. Then it is up to our council to issue the order. If they don't come, they have to come. Zhou Chuangde continued. Mainly, I'm worried that someone will come and make trouble. The side door actually tried its best to give the leather door a number of disasters. How can it be easy for people to solve the disaster? You don't have to worry about the rest. Just call someone. Chen Shang, said to them. Director Chun said so. A few of us old men are sure to get the job done. The old people exchanged a few more words with me before leaving the tea house. What I didn't expect was the next day. A line of writing was written on the door of my tea house. The gossip gained unwarranted popularity. Your walk through the back door has already caused outrage. I advise you to have the council retract the order. You don't smell like the wind. This view is what the disciples of Pimen wrote. Soon it was the day of the incense burner peak. At 3 o'clock, I followed Sun Jiaoing and them to Shangshan. The environment of Shangshan is very good. The main peak, the incense burner peak, is even higher and steeper. Mister, everything you want is ready. The incense burner peak was cleared by me. The hot platform at the top of the peak has also been built. Sun Jiaoing said to me. Behind me, there is a wooden platform several meters high. It's like an altar used for sacrifices in ancient times. Zhou Chuangde on the side also followed. The Pimen disciples were also notified in place. Whoever is late will be expelled from the door. And then the cold room came. It's just that I guessed the person at the side door. They may also follow up on the sly. It's okay. I smiled and said, come on. It does not affect the destruction of calamity today. After several days of preparation, Sun Jiaoing also prepared everything I needed. Today's incense burner peak broke the number of disasters. It was my first meticulous preparation. In fact, anyone can destroy it. I didn't say anything more. Instead, he began to wait patiently for the arrival of the Pimen disciples. Time is almost 50. Finally, under the leadership of Cui Meidi, here comes the last group of Pimen disciples. I think it's about the same time. Said to the Sun family, Chairman's son, members of the board of directors, please also distribute the talisman I have inscribed. Be sure to keep each disciple in their hands. The old people nodded. There are these old people pressing the formation. The disciples of Pimen have all taken my talismans. And just after the distribution of the runes, Cui Mei suddenly spoke. Wait a minute. Officer Cui, what do you have to say? Sun Jiaoing looked at Cui Mei. I saw Cui Mei take a step forward and say, Leaders, directors, do you know who the people standing behind me are? Aren't they all my Pimen disciples? Sun Jiaoing was puzzled. Cui Mei shook her head, and her voice suddenly raised. They weren't just my Pimen disciples. This disciple, my mother had just passed away, and my wife hadn't passed away yet, was ordered by the will of the council to summon Yanjing. The disciple's wife had a difficult birth. His fate is still uncertain in the hospital. I was also summoned to Yanjing by the will of the council. His son was the night before the council's order. Died in a car accident and the body was not cold. Him. Leader, you are in a high position, but you know an unreasonable commandment. How much harm has been done to our disciples? Chui Mei is full of heartfelt feelings and sincerity. The people who followed him immediately shouted loads. At the same time, those disciples who only complained before, it was also mobilized to quarrel out loud. Quiet. Sun Xiaowang shouted fiercely. He continued, I know it's not easy for you, but today it is also a last resort. This calamity is at stake for your lives. Chui Mei sneered when she heard this and said again and again, Leader, have we really been tricked into calamity? Are you sure? This was not a show by the Pieman Council to establish the prestige of this man. As soon as these words came out, the audience was in an uproar. I have to say, Chui Mei is very emotional about people. He is also very good at finding vulnerabilities for attackers. My grandson is vouched for his personality. Swear by the position of leader of Pieman. This is not a show. Sun Xiaowing muttered. Chui Mei smiled again. Leader, if only you had said it before, I would have believed it. But the interpersonal scandal will be an aftermath. How many people still believe your words? I, Zhou Chuangda, also make a guarantee. I, Han Sherling, also vouch for Qin Qili. And at this moment, the 5 members stood up to speak for me. Chui Mei said unhurriedly when she saw this. Okay, yes. Since it is the leader and all the Li family members are vouching, then do you dare to promise me, Chui Mei? And one thing for all the disciples of my Pieman. You said. Sun Xiaowang said. If it's over today, there is no evidence of the number of calamities like us. The leaders and board members don't give us an explanation. Then ask the leaders and the directors to abdicate and apologize. Chui Mei said solemnly. I have to say, Chui Mei's trick is very clever. He knew that after the interpersonal Pieman meeting, he has no chance of being on the council, so it can only be broken, not broken. Simply offend all those in power in Pieman, in exchange for a chance. Licentious. Sun Xiaowang was furious at the moment. Something quickly comes to mind. Didn't promise Chui Mei. I pondered. Chui Mei's plan for today. It should be a high-level person to guide you. But soon, I had an idea. President's son. Trustees, believe me. Seeing this, Sun Xiaowing immediately made a decision. The exception is very authentic. Good. Officer Shui said. We all agreed. Case. What am I talking about? It's just that I don't lose. Then we'll be down there. Watch Chan Li's performance. Chui Mei smiled and stepped back. At this time, I walked toward the raised platform that had been built. There is a mahogany table on the raised platform. There was an incense burner on the table. There are also cows, sheep and pigs in a regular manner. 5 incense sticks are burned in a unique order, inserted on a mahogany table in each position. It's like a posture of worshipping this guy. I took out the Zujin stone and placed it on the mahogany table. Dispersed the calamity of the disciples of Pieman. Evil spirits obey. I'd hastily help thee to inquire the land. This is because of you. Pray to the earth. Resolve the evil for my Pieman disciples. Spoke up. 0, 0, 0. The soul bell shook violently. On a mahogany table, I inserted a black ruler that was waist-wide. This kind of thing is a strange thing that I asked Sun Jiawen to prepare. The silent envoy is forged from dark iron. It's hard for ordinary people to get by. Disciples of Pieman. The runes in your hands. It is a guide to the breath. Receive the scent of the incense burner. To be able to relieve the fire. I said loudly. The people of Timon have talismans in their hands. The rune also shook. Past mist before somebody's eyes. It's just because of the wind. Chui Mei laughed foolishly. I looked at the bells. In a commanding tone to the bell. It's just the kick of the bell. And yet at this moment, the incense burner was sealed in the midst of a messy crowd. Suddenly, someone threw a talisman at the ink ruler. Fulu is attached to the ink ruler. A raging fire ignited in an instant. Not good. Someone is sabotaging the mage. Sun Xiaoling's eyes were fierce, and he immediately looked at that person. Catch the person. Zhou Chuangda shouted again. Firefly talisman. I burned the sedum and the means I used in the first place. This is the firefly talisman. The fire caused by the fire charm is swift. In an instant, the entire ink ruler was burned. The whole mage was in turmoil at once. The hot platform on the peak of the incense burner began to shake. Cracks appeared on the mahogany table. Even the sky was filled with strange black clouds. Especially the group of people brought by Chui Mei. This group of people is not in good health, and there is no one to luck. Deeply affected by the art of calamity. Their faces turned pale. Some vomited and drowned blood on the spot. Some fainted directly in place. After a few seconds, the man who had put out the suit did not flee either. He wears a mask and can't see his looks. I only heard him say coldly and arrogantly, I can't get to my senses. For your sake. I've already warned you. But you're still meddling in 2 grievances. Don't blame me for being rude at the side door. The woman at the side door said this. Again, the crowd in Pieman looked shocked. And Chui Mei's face was even darker. The smiling face that was strategizing before has long since disappeared. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand it now? Hit him. Pan Sherlin shouted. Ladies and gentlemen, do you still have the strength to get my hands on me? Sun Jiawang, do you old men have the strength to catch me? The woman laughed. At present, all the people in Pieman have been punished. Regurgitation after being destroyed. There was no strength at all. That's when it happened. I asked unhurriedly as I looked at the woman. It was you who burned down my tea house. I asked again. Words on crow white paper. You wrote it too. He replied without hesitation. And I said loudly to Pieman's disciples. The people of Pieman believed me. Bite the blood on the tip of the tongue. Spit on the reverse side of Fulu in his hand. This blessing is the blessing of chi induction. On the contrary, it is a talisman. Inducing the talisman blessing can protect you for a moment. It was expected that someone from the side door would come and disrupt the ceremony. So I was prepared. At this moment, all the disciples of Pieman, not a single person stopped believing my words. Do as I say right away. After Fulu was attracted by the blood on the tip of his tongue, it was as if they were being forced by a force. I then pulled out a white bone several meters long. Throw it into the sky. The evil spirit is listening. I don't hold it just to ask the bottom of it. At this time, the white bones lend you to sky. You have to go to heaven. Resolve the evil for my Pieman disciples. I shouted. Just used as an ink ruler. It's just what I use for fishing. A truly critical step. It is this white cloth that ascends to heaven. This white cloth is not simple. It is made of celestial silk. Just get this several meters of white cloth in a short period of time. Almost use up all of Sun Jiawang's connections. In the backhand, the woman at the side door immediately noticed the clue. Then she tried to strike again. But I smiled coldly. If I were you, immediately go back to the ancestral hall of the patriarch to see the disciple's side. Your evil spirit thinks I use it. Your ancestral stone is also in my hands. It's a donkey that's time to think of something. There's still work to come here and toss. Painted walls. The figure of the woman at the side door froze in place. Damn it, the woman wakes up. After putting down a cruel word, he immediately turned around and went down the mountain. It's very fast. It can be seen that this woman is extraordinary. After the woman at the side door left, the mage continued. Under the demonstrative demonstrations of the demons threatened by me, soon the tree of calamity of Pieman was unraveled. The services I distribute to them. It also completed its mission and came to naught. Finally the bell in my hand shattered. The evil spirits dissipated together on the peak of the incense burner, under the watchful eye of the crowd. I took back the white minting that fell from the sky. Good. Sun Jiawang took the lead. I said to Pieman's disciples, the curse has been solved, but being disturbed by others. You will be weak for a while. Need a good rest. Let's all go down the mountain. Under Li's arrangement, the disciples of Pieman descended the mountain. And Shuaimei has long since disappeared zoning. It is worthy of Chen Li's. The person at the side door is simply a clown jumping off the beam. Zhou Shuang said with a smile. Chen Shili came to the human sacrifice hall tonight. He set up a few tables and it was a celebration feast. At this moment, Han Sherling proposed. No problem. I'll be there in the evening. Everyone is tired, so go back and rest. I nodded. Then I also went back to the tea house to sleep back the Longjue. I slept until the night. After that, I went to Renjitang. Yo who was here. It turned out that I was the one who started the song. My Pieman's savior. My good brother Sun Jiaoshan. Sun Jiaoshan walked towards him with a smile. It's not lively in the Renji Hall. In addition to a few old people such as Sun Jiawang and Zhou Zhuangda, there are also many older officers in Pieman. They are all figures of extraordinary status in the medical field. After a few words of greeting with them, Sun Jiaoshan pulled me to drink. The celebration banquet was only halfway drunk. The waiter outside hurriedly walked in. What's the matter? Sun Jiaoshan asked fiercely. Lords and young masters, directors, someone outside came to give gifts. The waiter said to us, are the people at the south gate of Jianghu Sawa catching? I know that I'm holding a celebration banquet tonight. I'm also here to give gifts. Sun Jiaoshan laughed. The waiter replied, side door daughter, Sedum and Miss Jingxiu. Sun Jiaoshan exclaimed, how could this girl with eyes on the top of her head come to the human sacrifice hall? I'm still here to give gifts. This is Sun Jiawang looking at me inquiringly after a moment of thought. I told them about what had happened. Sun Jiawang laughed heartily. It seems that his visit to give gifts has something to do with the art of calamity, or Chong Li's clever methods. It also allows them to prepare the side door often with the taste of calamity. A good one to return the body of others in the way of others. The cow is singing. I've been watching upset for a long time. You don't know in the Yinjing Jianghu circle how crazy this splendid is. Sun Jiaoshan said with a smile. I said, let her in. Soon a tall woman walked in. Her appearance is exquisite. The lips are red and the teeth are white, and the aura is full. This woman is on the incense burner peak in the morning. Those who break the rituals. Splendid sideboard. I've seen all of you. The woman's face was grim, and she said aloud, Miss Nishiki, what's the matter with coming to my people's house? Zhou Shuangda was the first to get up and asked. The woman ignored the gaze of all the old men. Straight to me. He spoke up. We are here to deliver a bottle of 4 seasons. Then he brought his retinue. Her tightly guarded boxes were brought in. The box opens. There are 4 pale cyan porcelains in total, quietly placed in it. These 4 bottles are quaint and generous. It has a delicate texture like a horse's brain. The top milk demon of the Huizong period. Thousands of miles and 4 seasons bottle. Beautiful. Isn't this one of the main entrance babes of your side door? Sun Zhaoshan said loudly. To say what porcelain is most cherished in the world, it must have been the milky porcelain made by the Song dynasty regardless of the cost. There is a saying in the antique shop. Even if you have a lot of money, it is not as good as a piece of milky porcelain. In front of me are 4 pieces of flawless milky porcelain. Its true value can only be said to be priceless. Then the woman looked at me and said, I heard that Timon had a new board member. I'm here to see you off. I was unmoved. Beautiful. My brother Shi doesn't seem to like these 4 bottles. Why don't you give me brother Shi's seal? Sun Zhaoshan said. The woman looked at Sun Zhaoshan hatefully. There were faint signs of anger. Sun Zhaoshan continued. It's okay if you don't kowtow. You are also a first-class beauty in Yanjing. Lordosis and posterior upturn. Why don't you give it to me as a gift? Be silent. The woman trembled with anger. This is the milky porcelain in front of me. Soon what was discovered? The pupils are locked. My boy said. The luster of the 4 porcelain vases resembles the beauty of the 4 seasons. Even in the insults, it can be regarded as the best. The woman endured the anger aroused by Sun Zhaoshan and said, It seems that Director Chen Shi likes these 4 seasons very much. Very nice gift. Wrap it up. Hear me say that. The woman said immediately. Before, I had eyes on the side door and didn't know Mount Tai. In the future, I hope that we will turn our rivalry into a J-uncle. Okay, I nodded. The woman's words finally said her purpose. The scourge tree. Can Director Chen help us out? Tomorrow evening is as fragrant as the wind. You take the disciple side. And your side disciple. Wait for me at the top of the wind. I said yes. Thank you, Director Chen. The woman left immediately after saying that. Wait until he's gone. I asked about Sun Jiawang. President Sun, what is the grudge between the leather door and the side door? Sun Jiawang didn't reply to me immediately. It was Zhou Chuang who told me out loud. This involves the previous generation. It is said that in the late 90s, I'm the leader of the previous generation. With the side door, the leaders of the previous generation fought for a coffin. Both died at the hands of the other. Since then, the two have continued to have grievances. There are also frequent conflicts between his disciples. Han Shilin also added. Except for the 2 leaders at the beginning. No one knows what's in the coffin. They're dead. The feud between the 2 has been settled for decades. It's ironic. The whereabouts of the coffin are still unknown. In the end, Sun Jiawang spoke. As the so-called retribution is time. But now, under the scheming of Mr. The side doors all came with gifts to show goodwill. Zhao Shan got to the point. The 2 grievances may have to be settled in the hands of Mr. My heart was moving. Understands that Sun Jiawang must still have a lot of secrets that he hasn't said. It's not that simple. After drinking, I went back to the tea house. It's time for me to make an appointment with Jinxiu. I didn't go to the fragrance like the wind. This afternoon, Sun Zhaoshan came. He looked at me with a complicated look in his eyes. There is color of admiration. There is also a look of fear. Then Sun Zhaoshan swallowed his saliva and said, So many years. A person who can make the side door recognize it several times. You're still the first. The splendid girl brought hundreds of side disciples. The wind blew an incense burner for a night of cold wind. You actually cut it. I've heard people say that. Splendid face has never been so dark. Chica is very cool though. I'm also having a great time. Wouldn't it be too crazy? The value of those 4 milk words is extraordinary. It is not an exaggeration to say that it can be exchanged for 4 courtyard houses in Shangjing. Receive these 4 milk words of Jinxiu. We're completely dead with the side door. Sun Zhaoshan said 2 more words. I didn't reply to him, but from the box, I took out the stimulation bottle that Jinxiu had given me and put it on the table. Sun Zhaoshan said with a wry smile. Say something. Other Shi. I spoke. Go buy some wine and come back. Go inside these 4 bottles. The higher the power, the better. Ah, what do you mean? It's milky porcelain. Who's going to put it for wine? Sun Zhaoshan said suspiciously. I glared at him. Sun Zhaoshan immediately did as I instructed. He soon bought wine and came back. Filled. I said in a deep voice. Sun Zhaoshan nodded. Just 4 bottles were filled with extremely high-degree liquor. About an hour passed. Originally jade-like milky porcelain. There was a puff of water vapor. After the water vapor has passed, the 4 bottles have completely changed their appearance. It's no longer as lush as agate. Instead, it turned white with a yellowish hue. The texture is extremely weird. This is fake milky porcelain. It's not really a 4 seasons bottle. Sun Zhaoshan exclaimed. Then he looked at me with a wide eye and said, No wonder the song doesn't go to the wind. It turns out that you have already found out that this bottle is fake. Splendid, this stinky. It turned out that I just wanted to use this fake milky porcelain to trick you into helping them solve the calamity. And Sun Zhaoshan picked up a white bottle and smashed it on the ground. But the bottle was hard to the ground. There are no signs of chipping at all. Sun Zhaoshan hui. This bottle is so hard. It's weird to the touch. It's made of something. I replied lightly. Dead human bones.